these events are not afterthoughts. This is a season of competition, and that could be really cool if they position it that way and they use their existing resources, their media resources, to help promote the competition season, which includes adaptive, teens, masters, and elites and teams. All of those categories be supported that way. I think that would be what we're looking for. And I mean, we certainly want to know, who's programming these things. So who can we blame for, the shuttle runs? Is it Bosman? Is it you? Do I need to send you DM? Who am I going to send complaints to if there's more shuttle runs ever? But no, I mean, those are fun things. The more transparency that they can provide, the better. What's going on behind the scenes. We love that stuff as a community. So those are some of my thoughts. Dollars and some organized media attention around that.
Yeah.
I definitely would echo that. I think even in itself, the fact that CrossFit has already gone out of its way to highlight the adaptive now division separately on its own. And it's, these athletes are competing and these are the athletes we are going to watch. And we don't have to have any other people involved. Like there are no, Tia Tumis on the floor at the same time, but they're over on North Field while the adaptive athletes are in the Coliseum. You don't have to pick and choose anymore. Like adaptive has its own specific limelight, which in itself is a new first. That's exciting. It's always been there with Wheel Wad and it's been great, but your able-bodied CrossFit goer isn't typically Google searching Wheel Wad and looking to find some CrossFit that way. So now there's a public avenue that everybody has an access to, which is great. And I think, again, the same thing, if we can find a level of media that makes sense and equitable for every competition that's out there, adaptive, teens, masters, Fort Worth, the able-bodied games, it's everything there, I think would be ideal because, again, it's just another level of opportunity for us to kind of bring back that community feel that maybe people feel have been lost now because the games are only focusing on teams and elite individuals, right? If we have this network to say nope, we are fully committed to making sure that the broadcast from Fort Worth all the way till our last week when we're hitting teens, is the exact same kind of broadcast. We have commentary, we have, sponsorships, whatever it may be. I think that's huge. And I think personally, I've always believed in this. I mean, I'm biased, right? But I think there's a huge market that's available for a lot of major sponsors to really tap into the adaptive world. I think it's a population that is sorely underlooked when it comes to functional fitness and just promoting wellness in life. And I think CrossFit being a, sport or let's say organization or fitness culture for everybody, really should have those sponsors tapping into that adaptive community to say, we support you. We want to make sure you understand that fitness is functional for everybody. And so supporting at this level, at the games level for adaptive athletes only says a huge statement of, the commitment you're willing to make. So I think, I'm echoing Jason all the way. I think anything we can get would be a huge step forward.
Yeah. And you guys both touched on, aspects of what I think is CrossFit's most valuable asset internally, but also one of their most valuable assets, but also what's most valuable to, their partners now in Wheel Wad and Legends. That's their platform, right? CrossFit has a platform that trumps everyone else. Whether or not they leverage it to the fullest ability is a big question, and it's been hit or miss from time to time. But, if you're going to partner with these events, the one thing that you can do, like you said, dollars and cents in media, but is a thoughtful and timely promotion strategy that makes it feel like it's this cohesive season. And I'm, hopeful that maybe they can do it. They've like I said, they've been hit or miss in the past, but it would be great to be able to leverage that because that would make it feel like a true partnership, right? These events the organizations are taking this competition and that heavy lift for a live competition off your plate. Hey, let's promote it. Let's leverage this, millions of followers on social media, on YouTube and things like that, and echo it to make it more beneficial. Because honestly, posting a video or posting a live stream, doesn't cost a lot of money in the grand scheme of things relative to trying to put on the live stream on the competition's end.
Right. Yeah. The other thing, Tommy, I think that you sort of hit on there was so CrossFit is a little bit hit or miss on some of that communication historically or the promotion, but now they've partnered with organizations that have done a great job promoting on their own. Mm-hmm. And so again, I think those organizations can help promote that conversation with CrossFit. If they're partnering, there could be some voices back and forth there around this idea as well, that these are organizations that have self-promoted just fine on their own. Maybe they can help. I'm not saying they're going to coach CrossFit on how to do their job. That's not happening. We get that. But in collaboration, this is what we've seen work. I don't know. But there's some additional voices in the room to hopefully help craft that.
Yeah, and that helps transparency, right? Because I think the question is like, all right, well, Masters are a part of the Open. Well, what do the Legends get a cut of that? Well, right. What about sponsors? Yeah. What is allowable from a sponsor's perspective if you're still a part of the CrossFit season? Can I just go out and fish for any sponsors that I want? Do I have to take game sponsors? Does that mean we get a cut? I think having those outside organizations, not necessarily acting as watchdogs, but being able to push that envelope back a little bit, hopefully brings out the transparency. I'm not asking for every single detail, but just understanding a little bit of structure would be certainly helpful for sure.
Yes.
How much weight goes into the emotions of all of this, of whether each of you will be called a CrossFit Games athlete or not? Because at this point, we don't know. And I don't know, like, how much weight of putting that in your Instagram bio and being on the CrossFit Games leaderboard is that?
That's interesting. That's a very interesting thought. I think initially too, as I know that many of the wheel wad, as we go through our season, like any wheel wad event that I would go to now, and knowing that has a CrossFit sanction, already in a sense maybe gives it a little bit boast of professionalism, right? I mean, there's that cool level of authenticity that like, hey, this is trademarked, and that this is an elite competition that maybe a lot of people can now tune into and watch more prevalently than they were able to in the past. That's a really interesting thought. I don't know if I've always been proud to call myself a wheel wad athlete because of the quality of the work and the competitions that have been put together and the games seasons that we've had. I mean, if you haven't seen a wheel wad games yet, I mean, last year we had 13 events across 4 days. I mean, it was still the same gauntlet. I didn't want to move for a week afterwards. I was served a silver platter. Like, there's no doubt. Like, it's not any sort of handout by any means, and it's not anything to bat an eye at. So, knowing that we're training under legitimacy, that like have always seen ourselves as a professional athlete, and now that we have the chance to have that branding put upon us with the CrossFit, support, I think it'd be fantastic. I don't know if a lot of wheel wad or adaptive athletes at this point call themselves a CrossFit athlete, a games athlete. They are very much a CrossFit athlete, and I think that's always been the stream of consciousness because, well, not every division is fully at the games, and some of us are competing online, and I'm optimistic to believe that there was always a chance that all 8 divisions were going to make it to the floor at some point. But again, I think this is the best way for us to be able to have that opportunity. So would it be cool? Yeah. Would I be completely distraught if it didn't happen? No, because I think I know internally, and I think most